Lights, camera, action.
Recap Camp.
Violet is a therapist. She's getting ready for a date. Jen stays home to look after Toby while Violet heads out. Violet arrives at the building entrance because their date is at an upscale restaurant. She gets a message. Henry says he'll be a few minutes late. She heads to the bar to wait and accidentally bumps into someone in the hallway, dropping her phone. The man picks it up and apologizes. Violet meets Cara, the bartender, and tells her it's her first date and she needs something strong. A man mistakenly thinks Violet is his date and introduces himself, and his name is Richard. Violet clears up the misunderstanding and says she's waiting for someone else. Richard apologizes and explains that he met his date anonymously online and hasn't seen her photo. Eventually, his real date arrives and they head to their table. Violet wishes him luck. Henry arrives shortly after and is stunned by how beautiful Violet looks. They sit down and begin chatting. Henry makes a few jokes to break the ice. Their waiter for the evening is Matt, a very upbeat guy. But it's clear Violet and Henry both feel a little uncomfortable around him. Violet receives a text and shows it to Henry. He thinks it's just some teenagers playing a prank. Coincidentally, a group of high school kids are there too, but soon receives another message, this time with her name in it. She's confused as to how someone got her name. Henry explains that anyone within a 15-meter radius can see her name and picture. He picks up his phone and walks around the restaurant to figure out which areas are in range. When he returns, he says the kitchen and lobby are out of range, so whoever's doing this must be nearby. Violet gets another message. The person is clearly watching them closely. Matt comes to take their appetizer order. Violet receives yet another message telling her to check the security cameras at her house. She does. Everything seems normal until something horrifying appears on screen. Violet freezes in fear. This is no prank. She's in serious danger. She excuses herself to go to the bathroom and bumps into the same man again on the way. In the restroom, she hears some girls talking and goes to ask for help, but a new message warns her not to say anything to them. Violet grabs one girl's eyeliner and tries to write a message on her own hand, but she gets caught. After the girls leave, Violet carefully searches the restroom and finds a hidden microphone. She returns to the table visibly shaken, and Henry notices. Violet finds another hidden mic under their table. She pretends she's texting her sister, but actually starts messaging the person who's been contacting her. Henry asks if she's still receiving those weird messages. Violet lies and says no. The head waiter comes over to ask if there's a problem with the table because apparently Henry had specifically requested that one. Henry insists he didn't. Violet realizes this whole evening has been planned in advance. She receives another message. Remove the SD card from Henry's camera. While Henry is distracted placing their order, Violet takes off her watch, slips it into her bag, and tells Henry she thinks she lost it. Maybe she dropped it somewhere. She asks him to check the lobby. When Henry leaves, Violet quickly grabs his camera and checks the photos. There are some with politicians, but many are of financial documents. Henry is on his way back, and Violet manages to remove the SD card just in time. She tells him she remembered she might have left her watch in the restroom and heads there to find it. She needs to destroy the SD card, and she does. Now that part is done, she asks whoever's behind the messages to remove their person from her house. But it's not over yet. She opens the towel cabinet and finds a vial of poison. Violet is instructed to pour it into Henry's drink. When she comes out of the restroom, she waits until the head waiter leaves so she can use the hotel phone. She calls the police, but the line suddenly goes dead. She opens a website to ask for help via live chat, but receives a new message. She's been caught. Violet finds a suspicious man on the surveillance cameras. the same man she bumped into at the entrance. She goes straight to him. He claims he's just waiting for his sister to arrive. Violet is certain he's involved, but has no proof. She returns to the table, where Henry is getting ready to leave, clearly disappointed. Violet must do something to make him stay. Henry is surprised, but agrees to stay. Meanwhile, Violet comes up with a new plan. She writes her home address and situation on a bill using lipstick and gives it to Matt, the waiter, asking him to pass it to the pianist. The pianist, collecting tips, heads to the bar for a drink and reads the message on the bill. He returns to the piano with a drink. Shortly after, Matt brings their food, and Violet finds the same bill placed in her food. A new message arrives. Violet is going to pay for what she did. The pianist suddenly collapses, choking. Henry and the others rush to help him. Meanwhile, Violet checks her home's cameras. The intruder attacks Jen and knocks her unconscious, then heads to Toby's room and locks him inside. The pianist starts to recover and takes the elevator, but dies shortly after. She suggests they have a drink, offering to get it herself. As she goes, her bag falls, and Henry sees the supposedly lost watch inside. Even Kara, the bartender, senses something's off about Violet. Violet is about to pour the poison, but gets a message. It has to be done at the table. When she returns, she tells Henry she forgot to grab Lemon and asks him to go to the bar. While he's gone, she pours the poison into one of the glasses. Henry returns. When they raise their glasses, Violet accidentally knocks over the wine. He goes to the restroom to clean up. Kara comes to the table and asks if something's wrong. Violet says the stress isn't about Henry. Kara also mentions that Richard has been watching Violet all night. Violet becomes suspicious. She walks to Richard's table with the poisoned glass, places it in front of him, and asks him to have a drink on her. Richard thanks her, but Violet realizes something. She never told him her name. He is caught. Richard tells her to sit down. He admits everything was about the photos Henry took. Henry has to die. He chose a table far from security cameras, leaving no trace. Henry comes to their table. Violet is out of options. She gives him the poisoned drink. He drinks it and goes back to his seat. Violet lingers a moment longer with Richard and tells him he's very clever, but Henry isn't the one who's going to die. She reveals she never actually poured the poison into Henry's glass. While Henry was drinking, Richard wasn't watching his own plate. Richard, realizing he's been outsmarted, pulls a gun to shoot Violet. Henry tries to protect her. Chaos erupts. Kara comes to help, but gets injured. Richard ends up in front of a glass window that's ready to shatter. He orders his man at Violet's house to kill them both. Violet quickly throws something at the window. It breaks, and Richard is sucked out. Violet nearly gets pulled out too, but Henry grabs her in time and saves her. His wound isn't deep. Violet grabs Henry's car keys and rushes to the parking garage. She drives straight home. Meanwhile, Jen and Toby try to escape from the intruder but fail. The man enters the room and shoots Jen. Hearing the car outside, he goes downstairs. Violet finds him, and they fight. She's wounded and unable to escape. Just then, Toby, using his remote control car, brings a gun to his mother. Violet grabs it and shoots the man, killing him. At last, the nightmare ends. Henry and Jen are hospitalized for a while. Violet invites Henry on a second date, and he happily accepts. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, you know what to do.